Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to pump our Bitcoin backs. And Pubby and I had the pleasure at the Bitcoin 2021 conference in Miami 1 week ago, where we had the best time of our lives to hang out with a legend in the space, a guy that not only has contributed so much, also is really such a nice person. And I was DMing with Greg Sash in this morning, and I told him we were having Gigi on, and this is what he wrote. Gigi is the best human on the planet, and I can confirm we probably have the best human on the planet right here today with us on Toxic Happy Hour. Your host will be Pubby and Danish. We are happy to see everyone again, especially our chat that we missed. So this is the Toxic Happy Hour, where we are toxic towards scams that delay the adoption of global sound money. Now, global sound money is starting to be not so delayed. Gigi, we're seeing when we were in the conference, Jack Mullers announced that El Salvador is passing Bitcoin as legal tender. And I'm sorry for not asking you guys what you're drinking. Let me know as we go. But I want to just jump straight into that moment for you, what you think about it and what it felt like when you heard that.
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me again, guys. I'm always having a blast on the Toxic Happy Hour, and I also had a blast in Miami. And yeah, shout out to the chat. What's up, Big Sean Harris? It was really fun to meet everyone. It's really funny to see all the Twitter people in real life. And Big Sean, surprise, surprise, he's really big. So that's not a lie. And yeah, I was just glad I ran into you guys. It was meant to be. You said you were at the hotel lobby and at the bar, and my hotel was basically next door. So yeah, I thought I'll surprise you guys and walk these 5 minutes, and lo and behold, you were still at the bar, and we had a great time. And I think we spent the remaining night together until Pubby fell asleep and things went south.
the Pubby exit scam. So I'll jump in on that one. Yeah, I'm just having a beer today. Let's see, my normal Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, as everyone is familiar with. 1 second, let me find it. There it is. Oh, it's a good one. So, quick Gigi story there, man. Yeah, this is and here's the cool thing about the conference. People you've known for over 3 years, just through Twitter and going through a bear market together. Okay, people you've known for years. I knew we're going to be there, but you're not prepared for what it means when you see them in person. Anders and I, that's the first time we had met. But what was really cool was after we had met there in the lobby. So here's my Gigi story. We're talking to a couple people. People are rolling in. Let's see. Ali from the Real Tahini shows up. All of a sudden, I get top of my shoulder. I said, "Hey, Pubby, what's going on?" I'm looking at this dude in front of me saying, "Not much, man. How you doing?" "Oh, good." And I say, "Who are you?" He goes, "It's me, Gigi." What? Because I've never seen you before. Fuck, man. So yeah, that's what happens when an anon account shows up. Yeah, man. Like you say, it was a blast. What a weekend, an emotional weekend for many.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I cried every day actually, and as Anders mentioned, the announcement of El Salvador, I think it surprised pretty much everyone, and yeah, it's for me it was very emotional because not too long ago, a lot of people called me crazy of speculating what will happen in the next 4 to 5 years, and seeing it all play out and happening even quicker than I thought. It's just a lot to take in, and of course there is also, as you guys said, meeting everyone, like the brothers in arms that were in the trenches the last couple of years, and just not only surviving the bear market, but also just surviving all the attacks and all the all the bullshit that comes Bitcoin's way and Bitcoiners way, and just fighting the meme wars together, and shaping the narratives together, and trying to educate the masses out there, and fighting against the mainstream media and everyone else who just is spouting nonsense nonstop, basically. So it was very emotional for me the whole weekend, and again, it was amazing to see everyone. And I've said it before, like love and conviction, that doesn't transfer well in cyberspace. You have to meet people in real life, and so there was a lot of love shared during the conference, and I can highly recommend to everyone who can afford it and can afford it also OPSEC-wise to go to these real life events, meet people in meet space, and just have some great meals with Bitcoiners, have some great conversations, have some face-to-face time, and it's amazing. Like, you always meet amazing people. And for me, meeting you guys was also one of the highlights, and also meeting Paige was one of my highlights. She's such a kind soul, and I had the best time.
In fact, Paige is in, real quick, Anders. Paige is in the chat too. Love you, Paige. Love you, MG Smith 4 in the chat. Greg Zaj there, great people. All right, Anders, go ahead. Sorry, man.
Yeah, sure. I just want to confirm everything Gigi is saying here, that it was such an amazing weekend to meet other Bitcoiners. We all walk around on the front line trying to orange pill people around us that are totally new or didn't hear about it or only listened to the FOD. So we all fight in that front line on a daily basis around the world, but meeting up with these people that actually agree with our opinion of how Bitcoin is going to make the world a better place, and just it trickles down to so many other values in terms of what we appreciate in life, and taking care about ourselves, taking care about each other. It just you really find out, and Gigi, you're a prime example of that Bitcoiners truly are, for the most part at least, very good people, and that connection in terms of Bitcoiners, and just that connection in Miami with new friends and people you've only known, like Gigi, through a green suit and sunglasses and on Twitter, to finally meet in real life and get that human connection, those friendships, was absolutely amazing. So yeah, man, it was great hanging out with you, Gigi. Really appreciate you took the time to, I think, crash into us every single day, if I'm not mistaken.
I think we managed to crash into each other every day. It's so funny because at the conference there were, like, I don't know, 20,000 plus people or so, and to me it's about the couple hundred people that I'm fighting this war with on Twitter, and they have like everyone has a way to find each other, and so to me, like, the Bitcoin conference, it was almost like a maximalist festival inside the conference, like a decentralized festival. Some people were at the Open Source Dome, some people were at some other places at the conference, and you always, like, I knew when I saw you guys, there is most likely a group of people that I really respected, and so there are some some towers of light, some beacons that you can always see and meet, and that's how you meet the right people. And I feel like that's what was going on the couple of days in Miami, and for me it was like a Bitcoin maximalist festival inside a Bitcoin conference.
I was going to say, man, what I wasn't prepared for is, you don't realize, for everyone who's been around for those 3 years and going through a bear market, you don't realize how strong you were going through it, because it was such a lonely time. I mean, you had people on Twitter. You never realize how lonely you actually were until you meet these people in person. When you meet them in person, it just opens up, man. I'm usually not a real emotional type person, but you realize that whole time I really wasn't alone. There was a person behind this Twitter account. There was a person behind that said, "Hey, man, you're good to go. You keep it up." So when you meet the humanity, the people behind even a non-Twitter accounts, yeah, man, it was a powerful statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really something to meet people for the first time in real life, so to speak. I mean, I don't really like the real life virtual life distinction. To me, it's all real life.
Yeah.
That's why I like the distinction of meet space and cyberspace. Like we hung out in cyberspace, and this is also real. And meeting people face to face for the first time, and realizing, like that I formed some instant lifelong friendships, and like this was true on for every conference I've been to. Like every single conference I've been to, like a couple of people stood out, and I just knew, these are going to be lifelong friends. Like there's no other way to say this. Like you already connected online, and then you meet in meet space, face to face, and you realize like those are amazing people, and I don't want to miss them in my life again.
Go ahead, Pubby.
Oh, I was gonna say, I know what you're trying to say. Virtual, the virtual meetings, the in-person meetings, they're the same person in a way. Yeah, and yes, they are. However, you're a big talker because I don't think there's anyone that got more hugs than Gigi. No one got more hugs than Gigi at the conference, man. We were all hugging each other. It's like it made it real. It made everything real, man. All these brothers, sisters, friends, now family. It was it was very surreal. And and there is something to put a human face behind something and have that physical touch, that hug, man. It was a wonderful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I just totally agree. And as you're saying, Gigi, you make some friendship connections. Like I consider you're a friend now after all you did for us during the weekend. And it's just, and that's part of what makes it. It was really those friendly human connections with people with great values that, and I've said that repeatedly, made that weekend at the conference in Miami one of the best weekends ever in my life. It really was phenomenal. And I even feel that because of conversations I had, like deep conversations I've had with several people, and including especially also Paige Ehrlich, who's in the chat, I feel I even changed as a person. And that sort of all that positive energy and that let's go really life force that I felt in the conference, I've taken it with me. And I'm just, I mentioned that recently, like I've had laser eyes on my profile for a while now, but I feel that laser eye focus in real life now as well. And it's with positive energy. And if people are coming across with negative energy, I'm out. I know that the best people in the world, they exist. I want to spend my time with you guys, and not with anyone else.
Yeah, it's really something. Like again, I think a lot of things transfer on Twitter and on other platforms, but I think the pure love, the energy, the conviction that people have, and also you can immediately tell that there are some people like they gave everything up for Bitcoin, or are in the process of giving everything up for Bitcoin, and just want to see this through because it's the right thing to do, and it's they really want to do the right thing and do like are in it for the cause and want to see Bitcoin succeed for the betterment of humanity. And that's something that it's very hard to believe if someone just says that online or just tweets that online. But if you meet the people and hear their stories and just like just by retelling these stories, what people went through, you take part in their life and they share their feelings and their emotions. It's very, very powerful. So again, I like if you never experienced anything like that, I can highly recommend going to these religious gatherings, so to speak.
So rumor has it you did one night. Did you crash on Matt Odell's couch? Is this true?
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't survive the beefsteak, so I don't know exactly how it happened, but yeah, Matt picked me up and just yeah, he basically picked me up and put me into his Uber, and I crashed on his couch. Yeah, that's the rumors are true.
But is this because you were a rational Bitcoiner not wanting to spend money on a hotel room, or did you have a room and just was not able to get the room?
I had no hotel room in Miami. I was just saving and stacking sats and just sleeping on beaches and on couches.
How epic is that? Because I was like, yeah. So yeah, Gigi just fucking lands in Miami. I don't have a room. Oh, that yeah. Wait, didn't you just say my hotel was next to you guys? Were you coming over to look for a room? You could have stayed with us, man. Just ask. Just ask. Anders had a tweet.
I think Matt Odell probably is a he's a big name, Puppy. I don't think Gigi. We can't blame him for hanging out with the bloody legend Matt Odell. I'm kidding. And I can see in the chat people are giving us a lot of heat for. I mean, sarcastically about all the love and romance they're feeling on this stream. I just want to say that's what it was like in Miami at the conference. It's this just pure optimism, positivism, or that's my second language. Apologize, but just love for other people that are good people. Love for the fact that we're changing the world to a better place through Bitcoin. Are we going to get sick gains on the same time? Yeah, it's a great bonus. Why? Because it's going to make us self-sovereign. So we're not laying under other people telling us what to do and working for the central bank for the rest of our lives, having them stealing the values of our savings. So yeah, we'll get sick gains and at the same time, which is really all about becoming self-sovereign and having the independence as human beings. Over to you.
Yeah, Silent Lamb in the chat just said Bitcoin is love, and I can and Paige followed up with Bitcoin is our love, and to me both of these things are profoundly true. Like if you think about it, Bitcoin is a purely voluntary system. Like there is no coercion, no force whatsoever, and there is also if you think about it in the right way, any type of inflation, any type of any type of stealing is some form of violence, and inflation is a form of violence, and there is no violence in Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin is the most peaceful technology, and Bitcoin is love. Like that's true at its core. It's purely opt-in, it's purely voluntary, it's purely in cyberspace, so there is never any physical exchange happening, so there isn't even room for violence. You can't be coerced to give up your Bitcoin and other things. Like it's Bitcoin is love. It's not just a meme, it's really true. And for Bitcoiners that realize that and are fighting the good fight, are in it for the cause and not for the gains, like they're in it for the money to fix the money and fix the world. Those are very optimistic, hopeful, and positive people, and that really comes across. Like if you put a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand of these people together at a conference, like the vibes are so insanely high. It's really hard to not get infected with all these positive vibes. And I think in Miami, like the vibes were at an all-time high, and just Jack Muller's finishing it off with the announcement of the first country moving towards a Bitcoin standard. It was all kinds of wild. And to me, like this is the beginning of the end now. Like this is the beginning, like the end of the honeymoon period, because up to now it was all fun and games, and it was just a little bit toxicity on Twitter and a little bit of infighting and all that. But now shit is getting real, and it's getting real fast, because now this is geopolitics. And as we saw with Nick Carter, having the president on for a good hour, and just all the things that we've been doing the last couple of years, they are geopolitically relevant as of now. And I know for a fact that some Bitcoiners are preparing documents for other countries and just trying to orange pill advisors of presidents and presidents directly and shit like that. And not too long ago it was just orange pilling some random people on Twitter, and now it's orange pilling whole countries. And that's also why my how should I put it? I don't think we have any time anymore to play stupid games. So I think we have to make good use of this momentum, because the quicker more countries make the same move as El Salvador, the harder it will be for the powers that are currently in power to stop this momentum. So it might be easy to, you know, do some fuckery and I don't know, try to sanction El Salvador, try to stop this from happening in some way, but it's really hard if it's suddenly 5 countries or 10 countries. So I think the time is ripe, and I think the time for Bitcoiners to stand together and work on this problem together on one united front. The time is now.
And that brings me to a question I have for both of you. Maybe we can start with you, Gigi, but I think all of us have in the back of our mind, because we've seen how the most powerful military in the world has run before, and how things have happened. Like, do you see any threat to El Salvador and them going ahead with this? Are they going to be strong-armed into submission and continue to use an inferior currency that can steal the value of the people's savings? Or do you think it will happen and they can't stop it, which also is the whole reason that Bitcoin is built as a decentralized network, so it actually can't be stopped? But what do you think the US's response will be to El Salvador?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I actually don't know. I have no idea. I was very surprised by many things actually in the last couple of days. I mean, for fuck's sakes, we had Francis Coppola have some halfway positive takes on Bitcoin. We also had, I think, the International Monetary Fund speak out on behalf of Bitcoin somewhat positively. We, of course, had a lot of negative opinions coming from politicians and from central bankers as well. But that was to be expected. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen. It's we will see. I just know Bitcoin will be fine. I just hope that El Salvador will be fine too, and the people of El Salvador will be fine, because if some sort of crackdown is coming, those are the people that will suffer. Bitcoin itself will not suffer. Bitcoin, like even if you remove El Salvador from the map overnight, Bitcoin is going to be fine. It's just like another node in the network, so to speak. But it would be really nice to have again, to use this momentum to skip over this stepping stone, maybe. It would be really nice if we wouldn't have to I'm thinking of Ross Ulbricht, for example. Like, he was the first person who built something that was not possible before Bitcoin existed, and it was very useful to a lot of people. And the people that are in power, they made sure that no one else ever does anything like that, and they just they put him away for forever, basically. And they showed the world that you must not do this. And I really hope that on a geopolitical level this will not happen. So I'm still optimistic. I think a lot of things are moving, and I think a lot of things are moving quickly. So I expect the next country to maybe join El Salvador in the next couple of weeks, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of signaling on Twitter going on from Congress people and other like high-ranking officials and politicians, and I think people want to benefit from adopting a Bitcoin standard early. I think people intuitively understand that this is a race and you want to be early. So I hope that the Latin American countries catch up with El Salvador, and that things are moving quicker than the powers that be can do anything against it.
Beautiful. And I agree with you. The only thing they can do, these powerful organizations that really run the world, is they can hurt people. They can't hurt Bitcoin. Pubby, what is your take on if El Salvador should have anything to fear now, or and if you don't want to get into, all right. I think this video riff right here, these 10 seconds, Pubby being asked a question, disappearing, and then we are both laughing. That probably sums up what Toxic Happy has been able to achieve over the last 12 months.
That was the best exit scam I ever saw. It's
beautiful.
Yeah.
That was actually beautiful. It was right when I asked him a question. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to answer that. I'm out.
It's not even for monetary gain. It's just, fuck, this question was too hard. Exit chat.
Total rock pull. Gigi, I had a question for you, and now Pubby totally distracted me here with that exit scam. Yeah, here it is. Oh, so it's not a question, it's more. So I had a meeting with a Bitcoin company as well this morning, and I was also told there the anecdote that they had 24 hours to prepare documents to a country south of United States on explaining in a one-pager to a president, what's the advantage of Bitcoin for their citizens and for the country. So big things are happening behind the scenes. Honestly, everything, like I said that yesterday, like if you look at the actual facts of what's going on in Bitcoin, everything is super bullish. Like we have Taproot activation, which is a huge improvement on the protocol, allowing for more privacy. There's so many things like El Salvador, so many positive things, but it is thought that is the best fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That is the best clickbait for media outlets, and that gets noobs who didn't educate themselves on what they actually bought when they bought Bitcoin. Unfortunately, it gets them to panic sell and hand over their Bitcoin cheap to the people that did educate themselves and understand this is the future money of the world, and that we need to accumulate as much as possible to have that financial freedom and self-sovereignty. Comes the end of this friendly takeover from Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, the amount of information asymmetry is still insanely hard to believe. Like, it's wild how far ahead Bitcoiners are, and just how far ahead the regular plebs on Bitcoin Twitter are in terms of education and understanding this phenomenon. Because there are like there are people sitting in large companies and investment firms and technologists, and there are academians. They just don't have a grasp on Bitcoin and on what is going on. And I think the same is true for the general population. The same is true for politicians. The same is true for bankers and central bankers. There are some people that get it, but it's still like, if I'd had to guess, it's still in the low single percentage. It's like 1 or 2 or 3% of like educated people that have access to technology, that have access to money, that are in technology, that should have actually the capacity to understand this, that actually understand what's going on. There are still so many people stuck in blockchain world, and there are so many people stuck in this is a bubble, this is a scam, hung up on old monetary theories that Bitcoin can never be money because reason X. And it's wild how far ahead the Bitcoin Twitter plebs are. Like, it's cherish these moments, because this is still easy mode, like this is still, we have a fucking cheat code, and just staying humble and stacking sats is the cheat code of your life. And there are so many people that just have no fucking idea what's going on, and they will have to unlearn so much that like their brains are so screwed. It will take them years to unlearn, and then it will take them at least 1 or 2 years to get up to speed. So we probably still have like 5-6 years time, and this is for the smart and curious ones. And I think we still have quite a little bit longer because there are some people that will only learn when the pain really hits, and I think we have some years until the pain really hits. I mean, it depends on the country, but I think the US, for example, has still a couple of years left, of course. And just learning through pain and then trying to get up to speed on Bitcoin, that will be a very harsh lesson.
Right. And I just want to add to that what you're saying about how the people with money are waking up. Well, first of all, yeah, it's great that we are playing this simulation, and the plebes, us at the bottom of society, have the cheat code and understand this and get a chance to, for the first time ever, be before smart money in probably the biggest wealth transfer of all time, because money makes up half of the entire global economy, because it's on half of every transaction. So this is absolutely major. And so what I wanted to say was that I remember Paul Tudor Jones when he came into the stage last year, just like Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy, saying, hey, I got to own some Bitcoin because they're just diluting the fiat currency like US dollars so fast right now. And I remember like he was saying like 1% allocation, but then he said something that kind of hinted that it was upwards towards 2%. And this morning I saw, I think it was in Squawk Box, a video clip on Bitcoin Twitter that he now says you should have 5%. Now that is obviously bearish, but he's doing different investments. But what I'm hinting at here is, or trying to point out, is that some of these people, and Paul Tudor Jones is really smart and has been killing it in investments. He keeps upping now his allocation. I think anything below 110 is bearish, but I'll allow it. I'll allow it until we take over fully. Pubby, I don't know if you want to answer that question from earlier I posed to you. I don't want to put you in a tough spot. We can carry on with something else. Or
I'll answer both. So what was the first question? And I'll answer the Paul Tudor Jones one. So I'll give you my opinion there. So what was the first question?
So the first one was, the central powers, IMF, world's biggest military, have a history of enforcing their power to put smaller countries and their resources into submission. Bitcoin is decentralized and is built to not be a strong arm, but do you think El Salvador has anything to fear from this challenge to the petrodollar?
So one of my thoughts, I think this may have been a bit strategy from Latin America and South America, was, you notice after El Salvador made this announcement, within a day, what did you have? Within a day, you had 5 countries, politicians, put laser eyes on Twitter. Okay, to me, this was a virtual shot across the bow. That was a notification to Western governments that we're going to have Salvador as they're going to be our representative, because then you look like okay, when the U.S. says, oh, guess what? Now we got weapons of mass destruction in El Salvador. Let's go. You can't do that now. So El Salvador can announce it more freely. This isn't like Brazil announcing it or Mexico announcing it. It's fucking El Salvador, man. You come down here for some of the surfing, things like this. But the fact that they had the support of all those other countries, no one really talked about that too much, did they? Because I think that is something interesting, because they're saying you can go down and fuck with them, but we got their back. We got their back from Brazil's economy, Mexico's economy. Okay, so from Latin America to South America, Argentina, Paraguay, all of them. I thought that was interesting there. With Paul Tudor Jones, the dude gets it. He goes, "It's math." Today, that's the best quote. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is math. It's math. And in an uncertain world, we know the math of printing money. We know that math goes to infinity. He says, I had no fucking clue. He's 5% gold, 5% Bitcoin. He goes, I have no clue what the hell is going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen when the Fed printer just keeps going. He has no idea, or stocks or bonds. So every week that goes by, he's realizing Bitcoin may be the safest bet I can make.
Gigi. Look at Gigi. He's got the cupboard in his background.
I'm just trying to blend in.
You're blending in great. You even save money on the doors. You don't like Pubby spent like 5 cents on his doors, but you even scrap that and stack more sats. Love it. And yeah, big shout out definitely to you, Gigi, for actually bringing the scarf. We got the 3 scarves lined up. We're doing the scarf pump.
I mean,
pink,
if Bitcoin doesn't pump now, I don't know what's going on.
Hey,
like
we had a nice pump already today, right? It's over 40,000 still, I think. I haven't checked.
Yeah,
I check the price, man.
I saw yesterday. We were at 36,000 something yesterday. and now we're at basically 40,000, just $10 below. Who cares? Oh, that's another thing. So about price and everything, a very beautiful thing at the conference in Miami. None of us really looked at the price or spoke about price. We were having the time of our lives, hanging out with people that also were there for cheering the advances of Bitcoin and the fact that we're going towards that Bitcoin only world.
Yeah, I mean, I said this a lot, but it's actually true. Like, I never check the price. I just don't. I think if you if you're set up correctly, there is no reason to check the price, because I mean, it depends on the income stream. But if you're earning Bitcoin, the price is irrelevant anyway. And if you're still earning fiat and auto DCA, all of it, then the price is irrelevant too. And so I don't have any dry powder to buy the dip, so why should I ever check the price? It doesn't matter to me. And I also think, all the price talk is completely insane and overblown, because people are hella bearish, and it's like, oh my god, Bitcoin is going down and it's so low, and then we're at like 30k, which is basically 10x from last year. So just zoom out a little bit and get a little bit of perspective. It's not it's like, normies are actually calling Bitcoiners that have been in Bitcoin for like 5 years and asking them if they are all right, and everyone is like up 10x from last year basically. And so I just think it's super stupid to concentrate on these weekly or monthly price swings. It really doesn't matter at all. I mean, it's up and to the right, and the only thing I care about is basically block height. So as long as blocks are coming in, the network is healthy. As long as the hash rate is healthy, I'm happy. And as I'm saying this, Pubby is closing the tab to check the price.
Yeah. He's trading you tab just like crashed his computer because he was doing some different candles and graphs. I saw that in the background. This was not a question. This was trading view, sucking out the computer power of his laptop.
Yeah. Eric in the chat mentioned that I'm so fiat poor that I couldn't afford an Uber in Miami. That's actually true. People had to bail me out all the time. I wasn't able to buy anything because like I have no fiat balances, so my credit cards and shit don't work. And like I just ran out of cash, so other people paid for me, and I paid them back on Lightning. So fucking Lightning Network actually works, and it's super easy to spend your money. And I didn't even check yet how much money I spent. I will regret spending these sets in in no time. But again, like I bought some socks and some t-shirts and some hats that are probably like $1,000 socks now, and it's just that's the way it goes. You have to spreading satoshis is love as well, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And we had such a great time, like thanks to everyone who helped me out. And the plebs, they set up some girthy channels before Miami, so it's actually there are some large Lightning channels being set up and were set up before Miami with the Ring of Fire and other things. And I made good use of these girthy channels, and I had some big Lightning transactions. So that was a lot of fun.
So explain about that, because I'm for one very, very curious about the progress of Lightning Network. We've got Uves in the chat. Also, he says he's willing to help me set up a node and like do this whole thing where you basically provide capacity to the network, and if you do it in the most productive way for the Lightning Network, that's obviously where you will earn an interest on your self-custodial satoshis, which is the subunit of Bitcoin, in case anyone didn't know. So I'm really curious and anxious to get that started. Can you tell us a little bit about your? And by the way, let me add to that. So the way Bitcoin is built is if you look out for your self-interest, if you want to be selfish and, like, for instance, get a return, it's always aligned with what is good for Bitcoin. So I think it's great if people, if the network rewards people who create useful capacity for the Lightning Network. So there is no upper limit on this instant transaction layer with zero fee, basically, or very close to. That's a good thing. But I want to hear your opinion, Gigi.
Yeah, of course. Before I answer, I want to answer two questions kind of in the chat. Marty's also called me out that I have socks and so I'm short Bitcoin. Spoiler alert, everyone is short Bitcoin. Like that's just everyone is everyone is way too bearish. Nobody is bullish enough and everyone is short Bitcoin. You'll see, like it's gonna be plainly obvious in like 4 or 5 years from now. And full-time Bitcoin, just shout out to the dude, awesome guy. I had the pleasure of meeting him and yeah, just spending some chill time together. And yeah, it was just awesome meeting all the plebs. You know, it was really so great. All of them are awesome people, and I look forward to meeting everyone again. To answer the Lightning question, it's like I think also in Bitcoin at the very early stages, there was a time where people ran Bitcoin altruistically, like the token had no monetary value, so you kind of were playing around with it and spinning up nodes and sending Bitcoin back and forth, and it had no value at all. Like a lot of people say that the first value was with Laszlo's pizza transaction. That's actually not true. Like a little bit before that, it was traded already for US dollars, so it had an actual value before the pizza transaction. But the pizza transaction is of course iconic. But before that, like Bitcoin traded at a value of 0 for I think almost a year or so, like 10 months or so. And so the whole endeavor was completely altruistic, just like, you know, sharing torrents or something like that. And with Lightning, we're not there yet that you can actually earn a meaningful amount of money, I would say. I mean, there are some people that can do it. Alex Bosworth can set up a Lightning routing node and earn a proper income, but it's still very involved, and you have to really know what you're doing. But the whole idea of Lightning is that you lock up your Bitcoin in a multisig basically, and provide liquidity in these payment channels so that you can just like a bar tab, you can settle expenses really quickly, and you only settle it back on the main chain if you actually need to. Like there is some the trust dynamics are a little bit different, and so if everyone plays nice, kind of, you don't even have to settle back, and it's just instant settlement, and you can do microtransactions actually below 1 Satoshi. You can do milli-Satoshi transactions as well, which I think is super interesting, that you can do even smaller transactions than you could do on the main chain, kind of. And I'm super bullish on Lightning. Like not too long ago, people spoke of streaming payments, and other Bitcoiners and other people were rolling their eyes. And now it's here. You know, we have podcasting 2.0. We have streaming payments. I receive streaming payments every day, every hour, even like in some instances every minute. Like I have a German podcast with some other people, and the listeners are super bullish on Lightning and podcasting 2.0 as well. And yeah, they're boosting sats and they're streaming sats just so they can listen to the show. And I would encourage everyone to explore these things. Lightning is moving so insanely quickly. It's working so well. It's bound to work even better, like every month almost. We know what we have to do. There are still some technologies coming online that will make using Lightning way easier. And of course, currently it's still a little bit tricky and involved. You have to see how you can get inbound liquidity, for example. You have to manage your channels, you have to balance your channels, but all of that will be automated, and we know how to do this. It's just implementation work. So it will take some time until this evolves and this actually all of it runs on autopilot. But make no mistake, we will get there. You know, like as you said, Taproot locked in now. People were so bearish on Taproot and were so bearish on soft forks. And at the beginning of the year, I was talking to Matt as well, and I was super bullish without any reason. You know, I had faith in the engineers that they will figure it out, and that we as a community will figure out how to lock this in and how to activate it. And I still have faith in the community and in the engineers. And this is true for the base chain, and this is true for Lightning as well. And so, yeah, check out Lightning. I think it will revolutionize the web as we know it, because you now have censorship resistant direct payments that anyone can send up with streaming payments. You can do all kinds of neat things. You can, you know, things like running your own Patreon, stuff like that. Things like doing crowd walls, where you say, okay, I already wrote the article, I already produced the video, I already have the song or whatever, and I'm going to release it to the world for 1 million satoshis. Everyone can chip in. I think these concepts are what's gonna revolutionize the creator economy in a way that most people don't realize yet, because it's very direct and it's very easy to set up. And I think most people still underestimate Lightning by a large degree.
So what kind of Lightning Network wallets do you suggest or have heard good about, without saying exactly what you do? And also, so this is a question now from Pubby, like, how do people, like, let's say they have some on-chain Bitcoin, what is the way to go about putting some of that on Lightning Network wallet? So have it like in your mobile phone, like, which is, you shouldn't have more than what you have in your wallet anyway, in your pocket. But like, so which Lightning Network wallets, and how do people best go about putting some of their on-chain Bitcoin on NL?
That's a great question. And before Gigi starts, because he's the expert on some of this stuff, I'm going to bring it in from, like, there's so many are just discovering Bitcoin. They're discovering what it means, discovering what it means in their life, what the future is. But you're right. When you got to explain to them, yeah, listen, there's hot wallets, there's hardware wallets. Oh, we got a Lightning wallet. Oh, we got Strike. You can use cash. Dude, that's pretty fucking confusing, man. That is confusing for a lot of people. So what's the basic breakdown on how you walk someone through these wallets as Gigi comes back out of his closet?
Yeah, I think the right way to think about it is in terms of having a savings account and a checkings account and some spending cash in your wallet, kind of. So you don't want to have your whole stash in your Lightning wallet, for example. You don't want to have your whole stash on a mobile phone. You want to have it, like, if it is your life savings, if it is any amount of meaningful money, you want to have it in cold storage, preferably multi-sig, and you just want to reduce all the risk that you can to lose it. Like, every Lightning wallet is a hot wallet. So you should have just some play money and some spending money on Lightning currently, I would say. And it's still, again, it's still kind of involved if you want to use Lightning properly, run your own node and stuff like that. But there are great custodial solutions. A lot of people like Wallet of Satoshi, for example, which is very, very easy to set up. It's custodial though. I really like Breeze because I think they're doing everything in the right way. Like, it's completely free and open source. It's non-custodial. You actually run your own kind of neutrino node on your phone, and I think they make the proper trade-offs, and they try to respect all the rights and freedoms of the user and do it really properly. So I can highly recommend Breeze. And I mean, Phoenix is great as well. There are some other ones. There's the Lightning wallet. I'm sure I'm missing some. A lot of people talk highly of Moon. I haven't used it much yet, but as far as I know, Moon does even on-chain and Lightning swaps automatically, so you don't even have to think about your two separate accounts, kind of. And I think different wallets will work for different people, depending on how involved you want to be and how well your understanding of Bitcoin is. You want to use different wallets probably, but just in general, the way to think about it is that you fund your Lightning wallet and you lock some Bitcoin up so you can use it on Lightning. Maybe you can think about it if, like, if 5 people go on a holiday together, everyone chips in like $200 to pay expenses, and that's how Lightning channels work as well. And at the end, you settle. So that's one way to think about it. And in terms of, Anders mentioned that you can earn yield on Lightning for your Bitcoin, and this is true. Like, there are 2 ways to do this. There's one way is to run a Lightning routing node, and then you can earn routing fees. this is, you have to be very well connected, and you have to provide a lot of liquidity to the network so that payments are actually routed through your node. So you actually really have to know what you're doing. And this is still very difficult. And payments are so cheap that you have to route a lot of payments to actually make any kind of meaningful money. But another nice way that popped up to earn some yield on your Bitcoin is Lightning Pool, which is providing inbound liquidity to other nodes. So the main problem in Lightning still is that you both need inbound and outbound liquidity. So payment channels are one way. So if I open a channel to you, Anders, you have the inbound liquidity, but I don't. So I have to convince you to open a channel back to me, preferably a similar size channel. And so all of this will be automated. We will have dual funded channels, and we will have other things that make this easier. But for now, it's still, there's like a kind of web of trust idea involved. You have to open channels to people and nodes you trust and that you know, and they have to open channels to you back. And since inbound liquidity is always a problem, a market solution emerged, which is Lightning Pool, where you can basically sell inbound liquidity to other nodes, and you can earn yield on that as well. It's still early times for all these things, but I think in a couple of years, people will earn a proper living just by earning yield on their Bitcoin, just by being a node operator, just like, with mining. I mean, mining is a proper income, a proper job. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter how big your operation is. Like, you can earn a proper living with mining. And just to mention it, there's of course also the old school way to earn some yield on your Bitcoin, which is by a join market, for example, by providing liquidity for set smelting. I really like how some people don't mention mixing anymore, but they call it smelting, because that's actually what's going on. So you're smelting UTXOs and produce new UTXOs. And so by providing liquidity for join market, you can also earn some yield on your Bitcoin.
I really want you, can you just expand on, so this Lightning Pool, I think you called it, because I heard about that as well. I wasn't quite sure. So is that something that is fairly easy to, like, where should I go and put in some Bitcoin and then get this return, and they take care of these things? Is it like a plug and play that someone who's technically not too savvy like myself could do this, or?
No, not yet. I think to set up Lightning Pool, it's still technically involved. Also to set up join market, it's still technically involved. So all of that is still very early days, I would say, even though join market has been around for a while. But there are no good UIs for it, for example. Like, there's still a lot of command line magic you need to do. But just getting on Lightning, that is very easy. So you just install a Lightning wallet and you fund it. Like, you download Wallet of Satoshi, for example, and then it will present you a Bitcoin address, and you load 1 million Satoshis or something on it, and then you can just play around with it. And of course, for US people, I think Strike is the easiest and best way to onboard on Lightning. It's of course, it also has downsides. Of course, you have to go through KYC and you have to enter your banking information, but it's so insanely awesome because it's like this. In this transition period towards a circular economy and the Bitcoin standard, we will need products like Strike. And what Strike does is that it lets you pay any Bitcoin invoice, doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter what it is, and it automatically takes it from your bank account. So you pay a Lightning invoice and $5 Lightning invoice, and it will automatically take it from your bank account and does the conversion for you, and you don't have to think about anything, and you don't even you're using the Lightning network without even realizing it, and everything is taken care of. And I think for the next, couple of years, this will be an extremely popular product because it's just so easy to use, and you have all the benefits of using Bitcoin in the sense of global borderless payments and instant settlement, but you don't have to worry about channel liquidity or anything like that.
So I'll jump in real quick, because the one thing that really stuck out to me there was when you go on holiday, you take $200. I believe it, man. I think you went to Miami on $200. It's absolutely brilliant. He crowd surfed Bitcoin and love, baby. Everyone loves Gigi for $200, man. He was living the dream. No, that was fantastic, man. No matter where you show up there. Out of all this, man, let's do some fucking house cleaning, man. I'm not afraid to do some house cleaning when we need to do it. Fuck, Robert Breedlove, man. Robert Breedlove. That was a big fucking deal in the community. I know I had posts. Everyone's got opinions. It's tough when you build a brand on, love and trust and honesty, and you come out with big clout. And yeah, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah,
Look, you don't have to say anything if you don't want, but
no,
look,
it's fine. I mean, I was very outspoken on Twitter. I might as well be outspoken here as well.
yeah, man.
It's I mean, I think Robert still doesn't realize, or still doesn't see what he did wrong. I think he still is of the opinion that this was fair game and just public inquiry. I would pose to him, just replace the word BitCloud with BitConnect and see if you still have the same opinion.
Yeah.
I'm warming up to BitConnect, like 100K, 150K followers. So probably 1 million people saw this tweet. I would guess even more because it was very controversial. So I have way less followers than Robert. But if I have a controversial tweet that blows up, it's like 10x the people see the tweet than I have followers, at least. So I'm guessing over 1 million people saw this tweet, and I would love for Robert to share these stats, because if 1 million people see a fucking BitCloud tweet, if even like 1% are curious enough to check it out and maybe buy some, that's tens of thousands of people wrecked, and that's what I have a problem with. And everything else is fair game. Like, if he wants to dump his fucking BitCloud to stack more sets, be my guest. Like, I have no problem with that. But just, it takes 10 seconds to find out that BitCloud is a fucking scam. And if you don't even have these 10 seconds and you offload it to your followers, that's kind of a strange move in the first place. And then doubling and tripling down in the sense of, oh no, I didn't do anything wrong because the crowd is just the mob is wrong, and I will not bend the knee to the mob, and I'm just doing it in the name of inquiry and in the name of curiosity. I mean, that's fucking fucked up. I mean, he wrote that piece on why it's Bitcoin and not shitcoin, and he's like one of the smartest guys in Bitcoin, and he has been around forever, and he just like. I still can't make sense of it. A lot of people thought he was blackmailed. A lot of people thought he was hacked. A lot of people thought he was paid. A lot of people thought he might be in on the scam and is somehow part of the BitCloud team behind the scenes or whatever. I have no idea. Like, I don't think all that. My very generous take is that he might have been just kind of burned out because so much things were going on, and he was speaking at the conference and flying very high, kind of. And there might have been also a little bit of inflated ego in the sense of that there's just no possible way that he could be wrong on that. That's my take on it. I mean, I still really like Robert. I met him in Miami. I like his writings. I really respect him for all his contributions, but it's very irresponsible to basically shill a shitcoin scam to all of your followers, because that's what he did. He actually shilled it. It's not like what is BitCloud? What is this fucking scam? It's like, hey, that looks really great. Do you have some opinions? Kind of, and that's not good. Again, replace BitCloud with BitConnect and see if your opinion changes.
I'll tell you what, the thing with me with Robert, and look, man, he was also someone that came on our show, man. This absolute shit show that we do early on. He's like, yeah, he came on here and talked. I had to leave early because I could see the future shit. No, but my point is this, man. No, he came on, and if there's anyone besides Andreas Antonopoulos, I don't know if there's anyone else that has contributed so much content and brilliance to the space than Robert Breedlove. So he still has a pass from me in a way. If he comes back and says, look, sorry, I fucked off. What really pissed me off the most about it was the tepid way in which he went around it. It wasn't, hey, I fucking love BitCloud. I've done this research. It was this lame, I'm going to dip my toe in the water and let me see what the cyber hornets do. I'll put my toe in the water. And Anders had a great point here earlier. I'm not to speak out of turn, Anders, but yeah, when you put a fucking link in there as well, Damn, dude, it doesn't play. It just does not play in this
Yeah,
community.
it's not a good look. It's
And
to butt in here, like it's especially not a good look because this whole scam platform thrives on social engagement. Like it has all these dark patterns built in where you have to share links to claim your tokens and stuff like that. And so he didn't claim his tokens and he didn't claim his profile. So that's not what he did. But it's just a platform that forces you to share links so that controversy is built and a buzz is generated on social media, and then you share a link to your profile on social media. It's just not a good look. And also, the timing is very suspicious. It's very shortly before the first exchange listing, and also they have some sort of difficulty bomb or whatever, like your fucking shitcoin. I mean, it's so fucked. It's it's not a decentralized project just like all other shitcoins, and it's I don't know what to make of it. Seriously, it's very out of character. It's very out of character.
Yes.
It's very disappointing because he knows what Bitcoin is about, and he knows that it's about the removal of seigniorage, and he knows it's about the separation of money and state, and he knows that all shitcoins are worthless. So just by reading Robert Breedlove's writings, you can deduct from first principles that BitCloud is a shitcoin and a fucking shit project, and you should not touch it with a 10-foot pole. And so I'm just very confused on how he can kind of find it interesting, in the first place. And I don't think he needs money. I really don't. Like I would be very surprised if he pulled in 2017 Andreas and is suddenly broke, like that. I don't think that's it. I have no idea what's going on.
So that reminded me of basically the last fall of grace I've seen like this was Trace Meyer with Wimble, of course, and it's reckless at best. I have no clue what the hell he's thinking when you spend this many years building up a brand based upon the philosophical truth and honesty of Bitcoin, and then a fucking BitCloud. I just didn't understand it, man.
It was not a good look, and it still is not a good look because he's still he apologized to me, and kudos to him for that, but I didn't feel attacked in the first place, like not at all. I was just like, I didn't take it personally at all. It was just an insult to Satoshi himself and to every pseudonymous person and to everyone who basically respects their own privacy. And there are very good reasons to not show your face, and there are very good reasons to not show your voice even. There are very good reasons to not use a real name. There are very good reasons to be anonymous and pseudonymous online. And Robert just speaking out like that everyone who is not showing their face is cowardly. It was very weird and out of character. So I kind of I'm mostly disappointed. I'm mostly disappointed because I just I just can't make sense of it. I mean, the most obvious answer is that it was a paid tweet, and it's like Occam's razor tells me that it was a paid tweet, but it just doesn't make sense because how much do these fucking shitcoin projects pay for a paid tweet? It's like 30K, 50K, 20K. I have no idea, but that shouldn't be like burning down Breedlove's reputation is worth that's not worth it, like if he just stays on course, he probably makes 30K every week by next year. So I really don't know what's going on. It's so fucking weird. I have no idea what's going on.
Anders, before I put it back to you, I got to just tell this one quick story.
Go, man.
So people wonder what it's like if you're to be anonymous. Look, we got the fucking invisible man with us wearing a scarf, which I love. So we had this, of course we have our little podcast here, but that's the best part in Miami. I'm hanging out with Gigi and we're walking around town at night going bar to bar, having a few beers. But it was great how many people come up saying, "Yo, Pubby." And I don't know half these people. Of course, you give them love. Hey, man, thanks. And yeah, love your show. And I think we get 60 viewers, 100 viewers. And they're talking to me for 10 minutes. And I would say, but you know what? It's cool you meet me, but you want to talk to this guy, not me. And they say, who's this? I said, it's fucking Gigi. And their eyes get like this big, dude. That's fucking Gigi? Like, yeah, man. I roll in high circles. No, Gigi was a rock star, man. He was a fucking rock star.
I was having such a great time, like, just seeing the joy of people, like meeting you for the first time, and, realizing like who's behind the face, kind of. It's really fun, and I mean, I had only love to give, and I only reflected back what people gave me, and it was so great. Like, so many people told me that some of my writings or some of my content helped them to understand Bitcoin, and that's what it's all about for me. That's why I do it. I really hope that it's useful and it helps people to not make all the mistakes that I made, and like, and I also know, for Robert it was the same thing. He commented on it. Like, so many writings of Robert helped people to really make sense of Bitcoin. That's why I was just disappointed to see him going down the shitcoin path, at least with like one small step. But I think he maybe didn't even realize how pure his reputation was. So I think a lot of people were outraged that he even thinks about shitcoining, even slightly. And just to close this off, I think a lot of people were extra suspicious of this tweet because he mentioned in the HODL hangout with American HODL and John Wellis and Eric Kaysen that he was thinking about, giving in to the siren song of shitcoins, and that was a couple of weeks ago. So
really? He said he was thinking about giving in to shitcoins?
Yes, he was. I had a long tweet thread on Twitter where I summarized my thoughts and responded to Robert, and it's at the very end there where someone clipped this this moment, and he basically was pontificating about, like, basically the thesis was, if the cycles repeat and the masses are as uninformed as they are right now, then shitcoins will pump again. Why not profit on this pump? So that was basically the summary. Right. And so it's kind of weird that he's thinking about these things, and a couple of weeks later he's shilling BitCloud, basically. So I really don't know what to make of it. I really hope that he comes back and he apologizes to his followers, and he apologizes to all the other NIMs that he insulted. And I really hope that he just comes out and says, I didn't realize what a fucking scam BitCloud was. I like, apologies for not doing 2 minutes of research before sending out this link, and distancing himself from all shitcoinery moving forward, because we're not here to shitcoin. We're here to fix the money and fix the world, and you don't do that with shitcoins.
Andrew's final thought here was to Shelly Mack. Shelly Mack's been in his face there, and had put out I think it's a she, I'm not sure, was putting out that Breedlove had talked about this a few weeks ago. Good call. And everyone is saying, if we find out Gigi is gonna, Marty's out. Gigi, I'm gonna slay you if you get into altcoins, which is the perfect time to introduce what we have tonight. Your first time offering is called Gigi Coin. Get ready. Anyone listening now, 20% discount, 80% pre-mine.
21% discount, 69% pre-mine. Pubby, you have the numbers all wrong. No, it's like seriously, I mean this with all seriousness. Like, Rockstar developer came up with this concept of designated anti-corruption nodes, and I appointed some people on Twitter that when they tell me, like, if a majority of them tell me that I fucked up, then I know I fucked up, and I will probably know before that, the plebs will let me know. But still, it's not only about shitcoining, like, Bitcoin will evolve, and we had, like, the block size debate, for example, was a good exercise in how the narrative of Bitcoin changes and how Bitcoin itself changes, and our collective idea of what Bitcoin is changes. And this will happen again. I can tell you this will happen again. Like, our ideas of what Bitcoin is and what it represents will change again. And some of the people will have the wrong ideas, and the free market of ideas will figure it out, kind of. That's what that's where I kind of agree with Breedlove, that the free market is very powerful. But if the free market ratios you 100 to 1 10 times in a row, then you might have to reconsider your take.
That is true. So if we move on here, or there was a question I think close to an hour ago to you in the chat, Gigi, on if you have any. We know you work. I mean, that's public knowledge that that you work for a Norwegian company. Right. Let's just clear that up. Are you there?
I'm there. Sorry, my webcam is I don't know, acting up. She's still probably in Miami and wrong time zone. No, I don't know.
No problem.
Yeah, I work for CT. Like that's public knowledge. It was actually tweeted on April 1st, so I think that's why most people didn't take it seriously. But no, I'm part of CT now, and yeah, it's a very dedicated Bitcoin only company. And we have a lot of firepower. We have big plans, and I would urge everyone to read the CT shareholder letter that came out when the company was founded, and everything basically is in there. So we're interested in working for Bitcoin, basically. So we want to go into mining in a big way. Our parent company, Eka, has a lot of access to energy and stranded energy, and it is a big energy player all around the world. So Eka is operating in 52 different countries, and CT will make use of these resources to mine Bitcoin in a big way. And we also want to contribute to free and open source software as we can, and also fund free and open source software as much as we can. And yeah, a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. I unfortunately can't, I can only talk about like 10% of it, but yeah, expect great things going forward. And I think while we still have a small team, we have the right people, and we are looking forward to, you know, getting more people that are in it for the cause on board. And I think, you know, we have the resources, and we are in it for the long haul. So CT was founded with a very long vision and a very low time preference. So the idea is to do this, you know, for the next multi-decade, like for the next 20, 30 years. And so yeah, I expect CT to grow, and I expect that we actually can be useful in building some puzzle pieces that will help move Bitcoin forward globally. And you know,
it's amazing, and we expect nothing but amazing things going forward when you're involved, Gigi. So you don't even have to tell us. But the actual question from the chat was if you have any insights into the Norwegian government's take on Bitcoin and orange pilling of them. They have like a huge sovereign fund of all the oil they've been selling for 30, 40 years. They've just stacked that those returns or profits into different investments. They're big stockholder, everything. Do you have any things you can share with us in terms of if they are slowly moving towards understanding that Bitcoin probably is the best investment the world has ever seen?
I have no special insights, unfortunately. I can only speculate, but I think currently a lot of conversations are happening on like very high up in governments, and also not only in governments but also among very powerful people that have just high positions in, you know, multi-billion, multi-jurisdictional companies. And people are talking because the El Salvador news, they are very big news. Like it has worldwide implications in terms of multinational corporations will have to move quickly to support just holding Bitcoin and transacting with Bitcoin, invoicing with Bitcoin, stuff like that. Because every fucking, you know, if you have a McDonald's in Salvador, it will be legally obliged in 90 days from now to accept Bitcoin. And so this has a lot of implications. And I think also in Europe, in Norway, especially for the reasons that you mentioned, there are conversations going on. I suspect what the right moves will be and what the next moves will be, because I think the smart people realize that this is actually a race. Like, you don't want to be the last on a Bitcoin standard. You just don't want to be. It doesn't matter if you're a company or an individual or a nation state. You just don't want to be last. You want to be first, actually. And yeah, first is already gone.
Yeah. So a quick question, if you're aware about this, and I'm sure you have the answer, like you have the answer to so many things. So in El Salvador, where it's now passed the legal tender law for Bitcoin, does it, because I read that somewhere and I just want to make sure I get it right, does it mean that all merchants have to accept also Bitcoin, or does it mean that they're allowed to accept Bitcoin? Do you know that?
As far as I know, the language in the bill directly said that you have to accept Bitcoin for outstanding debts unless you're not technically able to do so. So if you are a banana stand and don't have a smartphone, then you're not forced to accept it, I think. But we will see how this will play out going forward. There was some interesting language in the bill directly, because it also nullified a lot of other previous laws. You know, like it was in there that every previous law that contradicts these terms is automatically nullified. So I think that's very interesting. And I mean, the definition of legal tender is that you have to accept it if someone, like if you provide a good or service and someone owes you money for it and he comes up with the money in the legal tender, you are forced to accept it. You're legally obliged to accept it. If you refuse acceptance, you will have legal troubles. So that's the definition of legal tender. And because a lot of Bitcoiners got really riled up that, you know, oh, that's coercion and the government steps in and forces everyone to accept Bitcoin. I mean, it's either that or we get rid of every legal tender law. Like there is no in between. If we still have legal tender, we kind of have to have this in between step where Bitcoin becomes legal tender.
I'm pretty sure that very soon. I just want to say, Pubby, real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay, you go ahead. Talk.
Oh, no, it's an excellent point because, there's a lot of nuance. I love the word nuance. Nuance means you can lie, and if you call it a nuance, it's truth. I love that term, nuance. So when I say nuance, get ready. I'm lying. So no, when we go forward here, what's interesting is, there's a lot of nuance between using Bitcoin to pay for something and what the vendors, must accept as currency. And this is where Strike and Jack Mallers get around things, because you can settle within Bitcoin, or guess what? You transfer that into local currency, and you can still pay. And no one talks about that too much.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm not an expert on this topic, and I'm not an expert on legal tax. There is some nuance, to use that word, in terms of what kind of transactions are actually like where this kind of forceful acceptance applies. But again, I think we will see how this plays out, and I think some legal experts will be able to tell us what's actually required by law and what isn't. I think what's also interesting is that they pointed out that all the accounting is still done in US dollar, which makes a lot of sense. You know, I think you like the unit of account will still be the US dollar, and I think we will still have a couple of years in us until this will change. That being said, you know, we already have developer grants denominated in Satoshis, and there are also some people, like some crazy people like Max Hillebrand, for example, that invoice in Satoshis exclusively. So some people already are on the Bitcoin standard as a unit of account as well, completely. It's just not evenly distributed yet. Oh, and by the way, we had an unanswered question in the chat. I'm actually, while I'm a huge fan of the porn memes, I'm not a huge fan of the scat memes, so I don't remember who asked it. It was probably Marcus Oil or someone. So
they've been asking for like 50 minutes, and I have no idea what scat even means.
Yeah, just Google it. Just Google it. Do yourself a favor.
Sure, Andrew.
While you're at it, also Google blue waffles and some other fucked up shit. Like, that's always fun. But anyway,
what is that? Wait, hang on.
I regret this already.
Blue waffles? Did you say blue waffles?
Yeah, you're getting hungry already, Pubby, right? No, it's
Wait, did you say blue waffles?
Don't Google anything I just
Oh
mentioned.
my God.
You will regret it.
Listen, the last one I
And
heard
anyway,
about,
it's all about some tasteful fun, you know, like you don't want to be too explicit and you don't want to be like if you know all the people that already have numbers at the end of their accounts like Labrahodl 12 or something, then you're probably not posting tasteful memes. You're stepping over the line a little bit. But I'm all for that, you know. I'm all for like lines are there for being stepped over.
I remember when Labrahodl, he was such a cool young kid. Like he's a nice young gentleman. Then Jesus, all of a sudden he went from Labrahodl to Labrahodl 19.
That is true.
Yeah, no, it's so fucked up. You know why it's fucked up? Because I always go back to my old tweets, and I have a large tweet archive, and I kind of know what I said in the past, and I just like to go back and dig up old stuff. And half of the accounts are fucking deleted because they got banned. You know, every reply I had to American Hodl is gone. Like the original tweet is gone, and this is true for so many people that it's, you know. all the like half of Bitcoin Twitter, it doesn't exist in the archives anymore because all the accounts get banned all the time. So that's kind of sad. A lot of history gets lost.
I had some inspiration from American Hodl. After he was getting banned so much, he came back with, now it's not American Hodl 3840.
It's the American Hodl now.
Yes. So I already. Hey, I listen, man. I learned a lesson from Michael Saylor. You get things like hope.com. You get things early. So yeah, I got the American Hodl 2 through 540. It cost me $5, and that motherfucker's going to pay me in Bitcoin.
Oh man, everyone's a scammer. There you go, people.
I remember when George. I'm sorry, I wasn't. No, I was paying attention, kind of. No, I just wanted to say on Labrahodl that I remember back last year he was like desperately trying to get banned, and he just couldn't. Like he kept saying stuff that should get him banned, it wasn't get banned, and finally, the guy is now on a roll and probably the most has the most amount of banned profiles on Bitcoin Twitter. He made it finally into Twitter jail. Oh, we have RD in the house as well.
Hey, what's up, RD? Speaking of Twitter jail, we should actually free Yellow. Like, that's fucked up that he got permabanned. So Yellow should be free. Chuck, if you're listening, free Yellow. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Can you tell us the story on that? Because he used some music or something that was copyrighted, or some cartoon or whatever. And is that the cause of it? And is there any hope that we can get him unbanned?
Yeah, I think it was a DCA strike. I think it's because he used some clip or some music that was copyrighted. It's super fucked up because he puts a lot of effort into, you know, remixing those clips and actually producing awesome memes and awesome like small movies even. And it has nothing to do with the original like movie, you know, like it's a remix. It's something completely different. It's, in my opinion, all of it falls under fair use. So just the copyright laws are completely broken, in my opinion. The copyright laws are completely broken. They are nonsensical. I'm not a huge fan of intellectual property. I think it should be abolished. I think copyright plays no purpose in the information age. I think information should be free, and if there is zero marginal cost to reproducing something, why should you make it arbitrarily hard? We can see, thanks to, you know, Patreon and other things, that people are actually willing to pay content producers and pay artists even if the content is free. So we know that this model works, and this model has worked for like the whole span of human civilization, because it's basically it's the model of, you know, performing something in the street and putting down a pen or your hat and people throwing money in. Everyone can watch for free, but the 10% of people that really like it, they will chip in and make sure that you have a nice place to stay and something to eat. And I think that's a way saner and way it's a way more optimal model for society than the current copyright hell that we find ourselves in. And the fact that it is driven by artificial intelligence, which will do automatic copyright strikes on YouTube and on other platforms, it's really bad. It's really bad. Like it doesn't make any sense in my world, and I like intellectual property rights should be abolished.
Gotcha. And there goes Gigi. Puppy, you have some more. I still got another like 20 minutes or something on my time before I have a meeting coming up. Yeah, so you have some questions for Gigi. Chat has been so yeah, someone highlighted, and I've seen it myself. The scarf pump is not working. I think we have to blame Gigi here, because even though he wears the scarf, he does. Gigi, you said you don't like to talk about the price, and you find it irrelevant. I think that might have been destroying the scarf pump today. So
I'm trying. Let me look back here at the price, dude. We started at $37,000 this morning.
No. Yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah.
And hey, we're still good. Everyone, I think, was so excited to see Toxic Happy Hour back up and online. Man, we had you and I were both outside of the country at the same time. We come back, man. You have Bitcoin conference. That's a tough sell. Now we come back. Damn, we're at 40,000. What's wrong with that, man? That's good.
Yeah. Let's look. Anytime the scarf perm is not working during the hours we will twist the narrative and say, yes, there we go. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anytime it's not working during the hours, we twist the narrative and say, yeah, but we're up compared to last year. It's all thanks to the scarf pump. And Gigi really is. Look, Gigi and Greg Foss, they really carry the scarf pump better than really most guests. Am I right?
I love me some Greg Foss, man.
I know.
He was one of the first one to show up with the scarf. Love that dude. So so you know what? Put this all behind us. Let's go. Yeah, let's go for the moon juice. By the end of the year, where are we sitting with countries? Where are we sitting with Bitcoin?
21 countries, $1 million per coin.
Woo! All right, there's
all right.
You saved it. I think that Gigi just saved the fact that he doesn't want to talk about price and everything by throwing out a casual 21 nations adopting Bitcoin by the end of the. Are we talking this year?
Of course. Is there any other year? It's 2021. You know.
That's right. Let's go. 2021 scarf pump cycle.
Pull up our D's tweet there. What the hell is that? Have you just got freeze love yet?
Wait.
That's for your boy, Artie. Artie, welcome to the show, man. We've done that. We're not going to beat him up anymore.
Yeah, we just spent an hour, 20 minutes talking about breed love and that altcoin that is associated with that. Let's say that. But yeah, I'll take that. $1 million by the end of the year, 21 countries. That's decent moon goose talk right there.
Marty's out coming in strong. Why do you allow bears on this show?
I really like this. Some Bitcoiners wouldn't talk to me like 4 years ago when I was starting to talk about hyper-Bitcoinization and how we're like 50% there in terms of time. And now I'm the fucking perma bear because I stick to my 28, 29 prediction in terms of hyper-Bitcoinization. So I can live with that. Like if I'm wrong and it happens 24, so be it.
So I from the last time you won, which I'm guessing was around October, November last year, and I recalled you were talking about like repeated cycles for like many cycles. So it's kind of new to me that you're saying game over 28, 29. I think game over 26, but hey man, if it's this decade one way or another, the world will be a better place, and we'll all have that self-sovereignty and no one telling us what to do anymore, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think it's very hard to pin down what hyper-Bitcoinization is and what it will mean. So I think it's a process and not necessarily a point in time. But I think we will have something approximating a single hyper-Bitcoinization event in like 29 or something. Because, you know, if the Eurozone collapses, or if the US dollar goes to shit completely, like that's a big event. And nations will scramble to move towards, I don't know, probably CBDCs or something like central bank digital currencies. Or but Bitcoin will always be there. And maybe, you know, the right decision will be to move towards a Bitcoin standard, at least in part, just like El Salvador is doing it right now. And if, you know, if the whole of the European Union, for example, does this, or if the US decides to do this, that's a big event. And that's something I like. That's something I have in mind, kind of, you know, but it might be something completely different. You know, it might be an infrastructure inversion that happens silently and globally, just like it happened with the internet. You know, everything that touches information suddenly went over the internet and nobody really noticed. Like every single telephone call went over the internet and nobody really noticed. So a hyper-Bitcoinization event, that it might look differently. It might be suddenly all the existing banks settling not on Swift and other systems, so not on ACH, but on Bitcoin. And suddenly shit will go crazy because Bitcoin is scarce and block space is scarce, and then there is just no going back from that. Things will really take off if this happens.
Absolutely agree. And I just want to say that if you look at the incentive structure of the Federal Reserve of US and basically any other central bank, they have somehow magically granted themselves and you know, bright politicians have made it happen and made it law that they can just right now, like no one can ignore Bitcoin anymore for no bubble last 12 years. Price increase, value increase for 12 years. That is disruption of the monetary system we're talking about. They know now that Bitcoin is going to play a huge role. And imagine this incentive structure I want to get to, that they can just decide to print as many dollars as they want right now without any limitations, like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but and go out and buy Bitcoin in the market. Like right now, they have the printer, they have the actual money printer, and can just start, you know, doing like Michael Saylor every 1.9 seconds, they scoop up 10 million Satoshis or whatever it is. And so I think that, I mean, that's bound to happen. That has to happen sooner or later. But of course, they probably will not want to let us know until they have bought all the Bitcoin that they want to buy, which probably is the rest of it or all of it as much as possible. So we may not hear about it, and central banks might be stacking already at this point.
Yeah, I'll jump in on this real quick. Why the Federal Reserve, when that pandemic started here, well, I'm sorry, around the world, this scandemic in my mind, when it started here, why the Federal Reserve was not fucking just printing money and buying Bitcoin, I'll never know. I hope they were, man. I hope they were for our country's sake, because that's a bunch of bullshit. You had cheap fucking money you can print to buy Bitcoin at $7,000. And I know it because that's what I did. I got a fucking stimmy check, little stimulus check, $1,200. I just, I didn't really need the money, but thank you. I buy Bitcoin with it. And that bitch is over $12,000 right now. I don't even know. It's so stupid that any central government wasn't doing this. Gigi has a probably more nuanced take. I love that word, nuanced.
No, I actually don't. And I'm sorry, my camera is frozen again. I have no idea what's going on. I'll just keep it like that. I just won't move. I'm really good at sitting still.
This is the scary. Now you have this scary, like you're just sitting still and you're eyeballing us, man. You're like this. You're getting into that scary pose. Go ahead.
I think, you know, I mean, Bitcoiners have been theorizing about these kind of things for a very long time. And now we see it play out on the nation state level. You know, like as soon as the first domino falls, it's a race. And we see this by just, you know, politicians signaling on Twitter and just a lot of people talking about joining El Salvador with making Bitcoin legal tender and moving to a Bitcoin standard. And I think for central banks and just money institutions in general, let's put it like that, everyone who has access to easy money, just like Michael Saylor, you know, like if you have access to easy credit and if you have access to a lot of money, the right move in this game, like as Spitzstein said, you know, in Bitcoin, the only winning move is to play. And so what you want to do is get as much cheap money that you can get and buy the hardest asset that you can buy. And that's Bitcoin, you know, like you want to get rid of your easy money to buy the hardest money that has ever existed. And I think once, like it has to start at one point in time. I mean, there are some smart people working in these institutions. Like they're not all super fucking stupid. And once this starts, a whole different dynamic is in play, because the other institutions will realize that this is a race. And I don't know how long it takes to play out. Like I was insanely surprised how quickly the law in El Salvador went through. You know, it was announced at the conference on Saturday, and I think it was passed on, I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday or something like that. So things can move insanely quickly if the right people have the right motivations and want to move quickly. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, some announcements of even banks come out and they're like, yeah, we've been accumulating Bitcoin for the last 12 months. And then things are gonna accelerate.
I mean, yeah, once one of this like Western nations, if it comes out either leaks or like on purpose, I mean that's one of those events that can really speed up hyper Bitcoinization, and by that really, I mean, you know, Bitcoin taking over as the primary money of the world before US dollars.
Yeah.
So
did Pubby's screen freeze as well? Or no, he's still moving. Oh, great.
Pubby
just making sure.
Pubby is mentally frozen with a lovey-dovey eyes, and you're straight frozen on, and I'm the only one moving here. But you guys can keep talking. So, hey, anyways, when next? Did you guys get your tickets for the Bitcoin 2022? Supposedly Q1. It said when I bought the ticket there, I got mine already. I can't wait to have another weekend like the one I had in Miami. And by the way, I wouldn't mind if it's Miami.
Yeah, Miami was great. It's a fucking crazy city. Oh man, it's I didn't get used to Miami at all. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on in Miami. It's a wild city, but again, it's a great city to have a large Bitcoin party, I guess. Yeah, I got my ticket just because, you know, I always get the tickets and see if I can kind of make it happen. As you know, I'm a family man now. I have a small daughter, and I actually I wanted to bring both my daughter and my wife to Miami as well, but just because of the COVID restrictions, and I actually had to stay in Mexico for over 2 weeks to do the quarantine run so that I can enter the US. So there was no way I was going to do that with my small, like a very, very young daughter. And maybe next time we can make it happen that we travel together as a family. I think that would be really nice because I want them to experience this, the love of Bitcoin as well. And so yeah, I got my ticket. I also have a ticket to BitBlock Boom. I'm not sure if I can make it, but I will definitely try. And yeah, I also look forward to some other more specialized conferences in the future. Like was it 2 years ago already in Berlin? The Lightning Conference was really great, and I think going forward we will have fragmentation of conferences. Because I just don't see a way of these kind of very large Bitcoin events to continue. I think it's the beginning of the end of the early days. You know, it's just like there was a time, and Andreas talked about this 5 or 6 years ago already. There was a time where we had internet conferences, and everyone who was doing something with the internet went there. And we don't have internet conferences anymore. It's very nonsensical. It just doesn't make any kind of sense. And I think the same will be true for Bitcoin. And that's the way I see it in general. I think the days where you have to self-identify as Bitcoiner and where it's like a weird thing, they will be coming to an end. I still remember the days vividly where you had to kind of, or people on the internet were just weird people. Not everyone was on the internet. It's like, I'm one of those internet people. I stay up at night and I'm on the internet. Like nobody is talking like this anymore. That was like 20 years ago or something.
Totally agree. And now comparing it to internet, I just want to bring a small story, and that is, so I kind of like discovered internet in '95 and just started preaching that, just like I'm preaching a Bitcoin 9 now. And this is a testament to how early days it is. I get more pushback, which of course is central power thought created that pushback in most people that chose not to educate themselves. But I get more pushback on evangelizing Bitcoin now than I did with internet in 1997, which was early days of Bitcoin. So it is still very early. Early days for internet. So it's still very early today because there's still more resistance now than I was in internet for internet back then.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think part of it is that it's also different because Bitcoin kind of forces you to change your worldview completely, kind of. I mean, it depends on where you're coming from, but you don't have to turn your whole world upside down if you just join the internet and build a web page. But you kind of have to turn your whole world upside down if you move to a personal Bitcoin standard and really fall down the rabbit hole. I'm not sure if this will always be true. It definitely still is true. I think we can see that all the time. All the people I talk to, who went through profound personal transformations just by, cutting out the bullshit in their life and just realizing the opportunity costs that are associated with not buying Bitcoin and just not doing everything in your power to accumulate, and just they are truly trying to live their best life and are future oriented and are hopeful and are not nihilistic and are not consumer driven and are not on a short time preference field standard anymore. And so I think it is very different than the internet. But of course, being an early adopter for both technologies was very beneficial. And of course, as we all know, the internet changed everything. And I think, again, Bitcoin will change everything in so many profound ways. We're only seeing the glimpses of this now. I think the most underappreciated aspect of Bitcoin is still how it transforms the individual. And John Vallis dug into this quite a bit on his podcast. And there's so many people that, completely stopped drinking, stopped doing drugs, got a second job, got married, had kids, actually planned for the future for the first time in their lives, and actually, understood that money is a useful tool that you can actually build a legacy with, and that you can build multi-generational wealth and things like that. And people are moving to the land, getting into permaculture, getting into fitness, getting into proper health and nutrition and all kinds of this, just for accepting Bitcoin into their heart. And that's super weird and super strange and insanely powerful, because if you change enough individuals, you're gonna end up changing the world.
I absolutely agree. And let me just say, so well, I kind of was waiting for my shoulder rotator cuff to get fixed, but I have a sweet tooth. That I love chocolate and all that, but I stopped eating sweets and sugar 21st of May. So we're heading, we're like, soon I'll be 1 month since I stopped eating sugar. Started doing push-ups every day now as well. And it is that sort of like take care of yourself sort of mentality that, as you say, it's very strange. Like, how do you necessarily explain that full connection? But maybe it's part of that love and truth that Bitcoin brings. And I see that happening, spreading like wildfire eventually.
I have my own theories on why that is, and the way I see it is, Bitcoin forces you to lower your time preference, so you're more future oriented, and it also forces you to adopt responsibility. And like, if you want to use Bitcoin properly, you will have to self-custody, you will have to run your own node, and this comes with a lot of responsibility. And once you're able to shoulder this responsibility, you will be able to take on responsibility in other areas of your life. And also, if you are future oriented in terms of finances, you will be future oriented in other areas of your life, in terms of health, in terms of family, in terms of where do I want to live, what do I want to do, what do I want to work on. And I think just those two things, you know, the lowering of time preference and the adoption of responsibility are insanely powerful. And that's what Bitcoin does to you. You know, if you are in it for the right reasons, and if you use it properly, that's actually what Bitcoin forces you to do.
I love it. Yeah, it's that responsibility and self-sovereignty. Beautiful. Guys, I actually I've been sucked back into the working world to some extent, all for the cause of Bitcoin, of course. I do have a meeting coming up, and we've been going for, well, officially almost 2 hours. So I got to cut it short soon. But Gigi, I just want to say once again, it was such a pleasure and warm connection to finally meet you in real life. And you got us good when you came up to us, and we had no idea who you were. It was really great to see you in the hotel lobby and just hang out with you those days in Miami. I know I speak for both of us that you were one of those connection highlights for sure. So, and thank you for coming back and talking about that Miami experience. And this might be a lovey-dovey episode, but that's what was there in Miami. It was lovey-dovey in the best possible way. So you guys do your final words and comments, whatever, and then I'll give the final warning about dirty fiat. You guys
yeah,
go.
absolutely. So it was such a pleasure to meet you guys. Like I had so much fun, and I absolutely love what you're doing, and I love you guys. Like it's so great to have this authentic show and these authentic voices in Bitcoin. It's duly needed, and I was so looking forward to hopping on the show again. I actually got this scarf like a couple of months ago already, so I didn't get it yesterday. I had it hanging next to my green suit for the longest while, so I'm very happy that I finally was able to make use of it. I mean, what am I saying? I wear it around the house all the time, of course. But it's
dude, I'm sitting with this. I'm in California. It's summer now. I don't have AC in this room, and I'm dying. But I'm doing it for the scarf pump. I'm dying here. Puppy.
Anders, I'm looking at your scarf, and I think you're being born. Are you being born right now? Because you're just jumping.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like me.
Is this better? Now I'm definitely warm.
Yeah.
And so John is saying, a good boy John there in Ireland. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. That yes, it's hard to give sugar until you make the switch mentally. I heard it from different people. You know, a friend of mine years ago said that he stopped with sugar and said, Anders, you should just stop with sugar. It is an addiction. Sugar actually is a poison if you look up the definition of poison, and it is a big time addiction. Like it's a really addictive thing, and it's a matter of switching it off, and then after a few weeks you actually don't have the physical addiction anymore. And I'm just happy about trying to take a little bit care of myself. Honestly,
I can highly recommend that as well. And the way this works kind of is that your microbiome changes, and the craving actually comes from your gut, comes from your microbiome. And once the bacteria in your microbiome change, like you starve them basically of the sugar, and then the whole composition of your microbiome, of your gut bacteria change, and then the craving for sugar will stop. And it takes a couple of weeks, so you have to power through that, but it will go away, and you don't actually want to eat sweets anymore after that kind of. And I just like I want to mention one more thing, like one more like for everyone listening, make sure to build these connections. Like shit's getting real now, and it's getting real really fast, and we're gonna need all the good people in Bitcoin, and you're gonna need friends, and you're gonna need brothers in arms, and you're gonna need like I expect in the next couple of years some people might want to move countries, and you want to have a solid social network. You want to be set up right for these turbulent times that will head our way, because both the decline of the fiat world and hyper Bitcoinization itself, like the rising of the Bitcoin world, will be very turbulent, and I expect it to be ugly, depending on where you are and depending on what kind of situation you are. And you're gonna need some help, and you wanna have some friends on your side. So again, Anderson, Pubby, it was so great to meet you, and to all the people in chat. I think I met half of half of the chat in Miami. It was so great to meet everyone, and yeah, I have nothing but love to give for you guys. It's amazing what everyone is doing, and everyone is putting in so much time and effort and so much heart and soul. It's really great to see.
Yeah, and you know, the feeling is mutual. Gigi, we love you more. So nice try. Poppy, you got some final words here. And once again, just thank you, Gigi, for coming on. It's always fun to hang out with you, man. And we all learn so much. So yeah, Poppy.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, man, and that's the thing. And we come up here and we have Gigi that shows up and can talk to us. Until you're in an environment like Miami, when you meet people that have the same type of mindset, the same type of belief, you have no idea how powerful that is. Miami was just powerful, man. It truly was. So for Gigi to, Gigi, here's what I love about Gigi, baby. He jumps on to our podcast, what, 2 years ago? I think maybe. He jumped on because, and he doesn't know too much about us or our show, but he had a belief in us, a belief in what we're doing. And when you meet him in person, and then you find out, man, it's all about love, and that's the one thing. It's not always about money. That's what I loved about the conference, man. It's not about money. So when I get to hang out with Gigi, baby, fuck yeah, man. It's all about the humanity, the love. That was something different than what most people would think. We're not all about the gains. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a total dickhead. I also like the gains. Don't get me wrong. But when you find the people that are now family, that's worth more than anything to me, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And that's what people don't see, and that's what the mainstream media doesn't report. Like, that's for sure. It's the people I care about in Bitcoin. They are in it for the cause, and the cause is freedom. The cause is love. The cause is bringing freedom money to as much people of the world that we can, and to as many plebs as we can. Because it's not about adoption by banks. It's about adoption by the people. And again, as I said in the beginning, Bitcoin truly is love. It's opt-in. It's non-violent. It's like there is no coercion in Bitcoin. It's purely like it's your choice, and you can make of Bitcoin what you want, and Bitcoin will reflect back what you put in. And so if you put a lot of love in, Bitcoin will be very kind to you.
Absolutely, Bitcoin really truly is a karma, I guess. It's if you help Bitcoin and support it, somehow that comes back to you. Bitcoin is truth and it's love, and letting that be the final words once again. Thanks, my dear co-host. Thank you, Gigi, for being a wonderful guest on Toxic Happy Hour. We look, since you invested in the scarf now, we're totally gonna get you back for another scarf pump. I guess we're gonna try and have better luck next time. But a final word of compassionate advice to the people watching, maybe for one of the first times: be careful storing more value in dirty fiat currency, which is the central bank currencies. Then you can afford to lose, because it's a built-in policy. They convince you it's a good idea that they should print more of what you have your savings in, so your savings become worth less. And they even convinced most of humanity that it's in our interest that our savings lose value, because that way we can get to keep our jobs. Guess what? People had jobs before they started destroying the money. Fix the money, fix the world. This is going to be a much better world, Bitcoin world full of love. And I think all three of us here and most of the chat agree that world is not far away. Gigi is saying 29, I'm saying 26. Puppy, I don't know where he is at, but he believes also Bitcoin takes over. So thank you again, guests, co-hosts, viewers, especially the chat. for carrying the show, obviously, together with our guests. So see you all in the next one. Thank you all for participating.
Thanks for having me.
Bye bye. See you in the next one.
All love.
All love. All right.